Right, so let's move and start talking about Barella, because that's the big topic tonight, right? So what we seen earlier on was a report from the Telegraph, and I'm going to go through that first and see how we feel about this one. So the Telegraph reported that Newcastle are closing in on a potential £50 million move for Inter Milan and Inter Milan's midfield, or Nicolo Barella. And I mean, to say it stopped me in my tracks was an understatement when Connor sent it to me. But it also made me feel like, how much do I believe this? How much do I believe, one, that Barella would be open to going to Newcastle, a club that, whilst they are in the Champions League, they're a very new project, and at 27 or 26, 27 years of age, would they be able to, you know, maybe win him the trophies he wants? Maybe not yet. But also you have to look at the journalists involved in these, and I would say that I had my doubts, and those doubts were only increased when you seen the Italian side of this start to come out. And there was stuff coming out of Italy from a pretty, what seems like a pretty well-based source that has you know, a good pedigree. So one half of the Italian football podcast, worked with DiMarzio, goal. So, you know, good pedigree in this person that was speaking about it. If you want to check out the tweet yourself, it's at Nima, N-I-M-A, Tav, T-A-V, Rude, R-O-O-D. And what this person has stated is, as stated earlier, want Inter players, pay Inter's price. Barella is not for sale for £50 million. He's simply not for sale. Make an £80 or £100 million offer and Inter might consider. So that makes more sense to me. And I feel like that is closer to the truth than the Telegraph article that suggests that they were zeroing in or closing in on Barella. If we sat back and allowed Newcastle to go and sign Barella for £50 million, I think every single Liverpool fan and their heads would explode. And rightly so. So let's wait and see. Now, people who've read Pep Lijnders' book will know that Liverpool are admirers of Barella. We know this, you know this, the world knows this. So if he's available at a fee like 50 million, as much as I don't like John W. Henry and FSG, I can't believe they wouldn't be in the conversation. I can't believe they wouldn't be trying to lure him to Anfield. I just can't believe it. So for me, I think this is a bit of waffle on the Telegraph's front, to be honest with you. But I want to know what you guys think about it. How do you feel about it? Do you think there's much to it, or is it time to get the hula skirt on, put the factor 50 on, and to a certain island? You know where I'm going? Newcastle must buy smart. They cannot fall into the trap. Well, let's address the article, I guess. I guess that's the fairest way to go through this. So it says, Newcastle United are pushing hard to complete a sensational deal to sign Inter Milan's midfield pivot, Nicolo Barella, in a deal thought to be worth about £50 million. Barella was the key cog in the Inter midfield as they won both the domestic and cup competitions in Italy and reached the final of the Champions League, narrowly losing to Manchester City. Sorry, as they won both domestic cup competitions in Italy and reached the final of the Champions League, narrowly losing to the Abu Dhabi Blues. That was my invert. They said City, but don't want to call them that. Telegraph Sport understands Newcastle have earmarked the majority of their transfer budget to sign two midfield players, Leicester City's James Maddison and other targets. They then go on to speak about the fact that Bruno Guimaraes would then get to play further forward in this Newcastle midfield if Barella and Maddison were brought in. I'll move you on to the next part of it. It says, manager Eddie Howe has argued strongly that he needs at least two elite players to improve his first team rather than spread a limited budget around players like Barella, who have been capped 43 times by Italy, fits that mould and have been one of the best deep lying midfielders in Europe over the last 2 years, yada yada yada. So there's not much concrete information there really that I've seen in this piece, other than it's going to get clicks, and it's been poo-pooed pretty quickly by the Italian side of it. So I don't know about you, but I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I have a feeling we'll hijack the Barella deal, especially after how Klopp spoke about him last year. Look, I don't know. Like, if the fee is 80 to 100 million, I'm not confident we'll hijack anything. But if it's a 50 million or a 55 million and we're not in that conversation, I think we'd have every right to be asking questions about what the hell is going on. Now, I do think I know a little bit of what's going on with regards to our search for midfield. And I think you guys probably seen where I'm going with this. Rafaela Pimenta. Ring any bells to anybody? If you don't understand who Rafaela Pimenta is, no problem, let me fill you in. She's the agent of both Khephren Thuram and Ryan Gravenberch. She was previously at Anfield for a game. I think it was when we drew with Chelsea, if my memory is correct. And the reason I bring up Rafaela Pimenta is she posted a bit of a cryptic post earlier on, basically just the Nice reception at the football club. So what does that mean? Well, we know that Khephren isn't there. We know that he's with the French under-21 team. So why is Rafaela Pimenta posting that she is at the OGC Nice reception? Well, I think we all hope we know why, right? We hope that she is there to try and negotiate a pathway to get Khephren Thuram from Nice to Anfield. And I really, 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 really get the feeling that he's one of Liverpool's primary targets. And I think maybe Kone is a backup. And I'm all for it. I'm all for us trying to get this deal done. Now, again, it could be anything. I mean, she could have left her phone charger there. I don't know. But you've probably seen the image that I've seen. And why post it? If you post it, I think, you know what you're doing. And well played, Rafaela, by the way. Well played to you. So what do you guys think about it? Do you think it means we're inching a little bit closer? Because I do. I'm very excited about the idea of McAllister and Khephren Thuram. That will be a delicious start to the midfield rebuild. Well, more than a start to it if you got two of them through the door. Craig, would you prefer to sign Kone and Thuram for 80 million and Barella for 70, 80? So I don't want both of Kone and Thuram. I don't. I want Thuram and I want McAllister and I want a Barella or a Vega or somebody with a bit more attacking potential for the right-hand side of midfield, maybe. So I guess in your scenario, Barella, because you're only giving me the option to sign one, but I'd rather have Thuram and Barella or Thuram and Vega. I haven't seen all that much of Gabriel Vega, but I've convinced myself that he's the Messiah. I've convinced myself this could be a masterstroke from Liverpool or anybody if they got him in from Celta Vigo. And as much as I've spoken about money and as much as I've moaned about FSG a lot, if you gave me a window of Thuram, McAllister, Vega, and a centre-back, I'm not complaining. Especially if that centre-back's name is Jurrien Timber or Josko Gvardiol. Makes me very happy. Now, I've no more updates around centre-back other than the Mickey van der Ven stuff we spoke about earlier on, that Liverpool are keeping an eye on him, so we'll wait and see what happens there. I fully expect Josko Gvardiol to be most likely a Manchester City player, certainly based on what I'm reading in the newspapers over the past few days. So I guess that leaves us with what happens with Timber. I've not seen anything really written about him much since the FA Cup final when he was at Wembley for Manchester United's game against the Abu Dhabi Blues, and I don't even know what that was about. Was it just coincidental that he was there? Was he again being linked to Manchester United? Was he just reassuring himself that United are shite so he can go to Liverpool? I like to think that maybe it was that one. So yeah, for me, I feel like we're edging closer to Khephren Thuram, especially with Rafaela Pimenta being, photographed or taking a photograph of herself at the reception of Nice earlier on. That leaves a lot of questions for us Liverpool fans, and one of them being, are we getting a little bit closer? Is there something that maybe we don't know about this situation? Because I think it's nailed on. I really do. And I've nothing to back that up, by the way. I'm not sitting here saying I know something you don't know. I just get the feeling that Thuram's going to be the next one through the door. And I hope he is, because I really like it. And let's be honest, we've all seen the bromance, right? We've seen the bromance with him and Kanade. Kanade likes to describe him as his younger brother, even though I think there's like 11 months or something between the two of them. But look, I'm all for budding bromances. The more of them you can have, the better. We used to have Lallana and Hendo. We had Lovren and Salah. Now maybe we have Khephren Thuram and Ibrahim Kanade. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts. If we sign Thuram, when do you think it will happen? So, it's a good question. And I hope it's before they head off to, is it Romania and Georgia for the under-21 Euros? And I feel like with his agent sending pictures of her at the reception desk at Nice, that maybe she's trying to let us know something. I don't know, maybe this is taking us out of context, but I feel like it could be done before, and I don't know if Liverpool would want to take the risk of him maybe having a real breakout tournament over there and his price tag going through the roof and other clubs coming in. You'd hope to try and get it done as early as you could. Is he going to get it done over the phone? Well, he could do is, just for context, we've done medicals at Clairefontaine before. I think Fekir was at Clairefontaine when he did his Liverpool medical, not to jinx anything, but so it's possible to have the medical done while he's with the French national team. And then you just deal, the player leaves it in the hands of his agent to go through the final details.